I begin with establishing a fitting protagonist. I figure someone who refuses to improve would be incredibly cocky, so naturally I picked an orc. I picked a fitting name and came up with some parameters. The rules for the run are simple. Don't level up. Everything is A-OK. However, Mr. Gro Grog Bonkzonk is a proud orc. He wouldn't be caught dead thieving, magicking, or resorting to a bow. Nope, if he can manage it, he'll bash his way to victory. So, heavy armored berserker class it is. The tutorial was pretty straightforward. The Imperials wanted to show me the way to the afterlife, so I showed them these hands up close and headed straight to the barrow. It went well enough. I found a dark elf who wanted to be cut down, so I obliged him. I finally found a hammer, too. I expertly coordinated the traps and found the tablet. I headed off to see my favorite Nord Balgruuf. I had heard that he had some sort of a Grendel problem, so instead I killed a dragon for him. I totally didn't even die. I did, however, discover the main flaw in my plan. Weapon speed. While I recall power attacking things into like a stun-locked submission in the past, I was having trouble doing that here. It just felt bad, man. It's like when you get a little cut on your finger, like where it bends. You know the type. It's like where you can't put a Band-Aid on it, and if you tried to put some Neosporin on it or something, it just smear off the moment you touch the doorknob or something. So you don't bother, but it gets infected anyway, and you just decide, screw it, this is my life now, I guess. If I die by a stupid paper cut, I guess it's just poetic because, by the sword thou live and die, by the paper I live and die, I guess. So naturally I head off to the Greybeards to sing the song of my people, but I found myself locked into a battle of the ages with the Frost Troll. Yeah, I could have just run, but it was incredibly enthralling. The more I died, the more I knew I needed to stomp its stupid face. It's like the virtual version of that neighborhood dog you and all your friends hated as kids. Like, the one that was so mean you'd have to walk 2 extra blocks to get home from. As adults, we know the owner, of course. Of course it's a he, one of those dog owners who lets their dogs outside without a perimeter alone because my dog is a good dog and never wanders off, but actually wanders around, poops on your lawn, and barks at you every time you leave your own gosh darn house. You know the guy. He doesn't wear a shirt, like, ever, because his belly is so big, shirts won't stay on him anyway. Smells like pork and donuts because his blood sugar is so high his pancreas is screaming for help while he's on his third 44-ounce fountain soda of the day, and it's only noon. What was I talking about? I test the Greybeard's patience as I nudge along their dialogue, and they send me away as if I'm some unbearable child because I am one. I then meet up with Delphine, and she immediately assumes I'm a sellsword or something just because I'm an orc, and sends me to kill a dragon for her. Apparently, if you stand too close to the dragon being risen, you get knocked down. I didn't know that. Huh. So I guess Delphine thinks I did a pretty good job because she sends me undercover to unalive a bunch of elves in her stead. My contact, a variety of smaller elf, tells me only to give him the gear I cannot live without. So, I give him my hammer. And nothing else. I then proceed to massacre the entire place in fancy clothes, chugging every bottle of ale and wine to restore my stamina between power attacks. I never died. Ever. Not once. Before I get ahead of myself, I decided that I needed some gear. All things considered, I was doing really well in combat, but my damage was dropping off. So I headed off to find a faster hammer. If you know, you know. I wonder now if it was actually worth it. Falmer are very high-scaling monsters in the game, after all. Even with Berserker Rage, drinks, and potions, I had a really tough time. It was like playing a warrior in classic World of Warcraft. You know the strat. Pull one guy at a time, blow every cooldown you have, and probably die anyway. That is until you get some stamina and strength gear. I mean, you can't afford that gear because people are jerks and charge 150 gold a piece for greens, which is garbage. So you say, screw it, and reroll a paladin because at least you have bubble. But then at endgame you can't DPS or tank because paladin is actually trash, so you're stuck wearing a dress with plate shoulder pads and healing. So I got long hammer and took an arrow to the knee of the back of my head. I also stole the orcish armor from the stronghold near Riften, which was terribly uneventful and could never, possibly, ever, never, ever affect me later in the game. So on to one of my least favorite things of the game. I was forced to steal by Brynjolf. Again. It just irks me so bad. Like, I see that there's a speech check there, but this guy loves money, right? Just let me pay him for the information. It makes me just sad about how mainstream writing is going. Yeah, I know everything can't be Baldur's Gate 3 or Kingdom Come Deliverance, but come on, it's sad. It's like realizing that those stupid TikTok videos from those Costco dudes get more views than Conan O'Brien, SNL, and Jimmy Fallon put together. I mean, I don't watch any of those shows, but I don't watch TikTok either because I'm an aging millennial who doesn't identify with the change of media and I'm perpetually stuck in 2013 because that's when I realized I'd rather consume media that really matters to me, which doesn't include most social media. But SNL helped define me as a young person, but the new stuff just really isn't funny. So I hide in my shame on YouTube and watch content that reminds me of a simpler idea so that I don't worry so much about the bigger picture and oh. So I play Whack an Elf for a while and rescue Esbern. You know, I really used to like Esbern. He was a decent source of exposition that the player really needs. He talks about the history of the game and how the Dragonborn fits in the puzzle and blah blah blah. Now though, he's that annoying uncle you see once in a while. We all know him. He's the one that shows up late to Thanksgiving or whatever, shouts, "Okay, the party can start now," as if the world revolves around him. His kids are always embarrassed to be around him because he just never shuts up. His pickup truck is 2 feet too high. I mean, lifted trucks are okay, but really, man? Like, 48 inches is too much, you know? And dude, lay the heck off the deviled eggs. I mean, I'm not going to eat them all, but every year you say, "Shouldn't have eaten all those eggs," and proceed to hotbox the family by converting the living room into a gas chamber. Well, Esbern isn't that bad, I guess. I just really get tired of hearing him talk. Well, later on, I stole a horse from some Stormcloaks, but I realize now that it wasn't actually classified as stealing. So for the rest of the game, for whatever reason, the horse would teleport with me, only to attempt to return to the Stormcloaks. I don't know, man. Free horse, I guess. Anyway, the funniest thing happened. Remember that armor I stole? Yeah, the chief sent thugs after me. What's more, they attacked me when I was getting the clear skies shout. I am now actually afraid of the Greybeards. These old guys don't hold back. At all. Wasting no time, I ran straight to grab the Elder Scroll. If you want to know how it went, just know that I got caught in loops of death fit for the bad afterlife. It was about as irritating as playing that stupid drop the coin in the plastic pachinko looking thing game. You know the ones. They're like obviously just a way for places like Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever to prey on children to scam their parents out of their change. I mean, at least make it fun, right? Nope. Drop the coin in the slot and watch as your hopes and dreams are quickly transformed into existential disappointment and shame for having lost that quarter your mom probably could have bought fruit roll-ups with instead. Oh man, speaking of those fruit roll-ups things, did you ever just unroll like 4 of them and stuff them all in your mouth? I did that once and nearly choked. I probably would have been okay if it was literally anything else. That stuff conformed to the inside of my mouth and just adhered like some sort of high fructose corn syrup glue from hell, and I had to hack like a mule to spit it out. Yeah, I was dumb. I was also the kid that swallowed like a handful of change because my older sister told me to. I'm also the guy who believed the Easter Bunny was evil. Fight me. So naturally, I went back to the Throw of the World. Does anyone else just hate the lens to the past bit with the Elder Scroll? I know I've said it before, but I mean, I just really hate bad time travel gimmicks. But this is just boring. You're not even participating. If you want to see how a game actually should use time travel, watch my Chrono Trigger video. To me, time travel is like one of those dumb dream tropes. Imagine you're watching Harry Potter. You get in your seat, and in the theater, Harry duels with the big bad himself, Lord Moldy Butt, from Billy and Mandy, defeats him, and all is well. Then, at the end, it turns out that he's been in a coma or something for, I don't know, 13 years. And in all the events were actually just part of his psyche overcompensating or something dumb like that. Then he goes on to live a miserable existence because nothing in his reality is what he learned from that reality. Like the past and the future. The past, these heroes whom I literally don't give two darn poops about, are just a gimmick forced on me by some writer who thought they were writing the next big thing. The reality is not the reality that I am currently living in. Ugh. Well, I fight Alduin, and it goes pretty well. I remember in my last run, Alduin had about the same HP as his actual boss fight, so at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about my damage output. So it was time for the Peace Council. I sat through 25 minutes of the worst dialogue in the game. I hadn't not done the Civil War quest in so long because I always forget how awful that is, and forgot how awful the Peace Council is. Like, it's bad. Come on, just let me do 2 minutes of persuasion per side and get on with it. The devs set it up as some sort of huge paramount climax or something, but instead it comes off as a brutish, shoehorned in mess that's supposed to link the war to the main story quest, as if they give a damn. Like, the whole point is to trap a dragon. It takes me literally 30 seconds to trap the dragon and then release it again. Why? My gosh, why didn't they just give me the Dragon Wrench shout, let me beat the dragon into submission with my preferred method, in this case the hammer, and give him, the choice to agree to help me or something. Something cool, not sitting in a chair for 25 minutes to occasionally give your input. Dragons love a show of dominance, right? Let me bonk that guy. Holy cow, dude. Alright, so the last dungeon was a breeze, mostly. I hadn't actually fought any dragons yet, aside from Alduin, surprisingly, so they did catch me off guard. Once again, I could not stun them. I couldn't stun anything. They were an absolute menace. I just ran from the last one in the end. I wasted my Berserker Rage on Soon, thinking he'd be tougher. He wasn't. I think he must scale to the player's level because he was just super easy, like one hit. I then cringed, as usual, as the heroes insisted on having a shouting match with Alduin, then finally fought him for real. It was tougher than I thought. I went into the fight with 2 small potions, but I ended up being fine. Berserker Rage would have helped a lot, but he went down without much fuss. So yeah, there you have it. I could, in fact, beat Skyrim at level 1. To my surprise, and to the surprise of literally no one else, it was very doable and fun. In fact, it felt more balanced than a maxed out character. I had to prepare for most of the fights. I had to use shouts, which I actually usually forget about. No kidding. I used more shouts than I have in all of my hours combined. I normally hate the system, but I really enjoyed it this time. Interrupting Falmer and using the sprint to run was just so nice. Anyway, if you made it this far, you're awesome. Thank you so much for all the support. If you like this, maybe subscribe, leave a like, or comment. It means a lot. See you in the next one.